Hey guys, my name is Alex and thank you very much for stopping by. Really appreciate your visit. Today I want to solve this simple problem which is related to the Fibonacci sequence, which by the way we already know how to calculate. And the problem is I want to calculate the sum of all of the even numbers in a Fibonacci sequence. That's very simple, and without further ado, let's get into it. The first step that I want to take is just a reminder, if you're new here, you can take this Ruby coding challenge in the 30 days in my kind of learning environment. And it's better to take here, to take the course here instead of YouTube, because you have a more organized environment. You have all of the days and all of the algorithms. And if you are logged in, you can see that you can watch the video, and the video is still coming from YouTube. You can just hit play here, and you can have this access to the blog post, which in this case is the blog post related to that specific video. And now you have all of the code snippets, some explanations, and I'm explaining a few things, putting order links. I think that this is a better and organized way, but it's up to you. You can watch here. You can actually sign up for free, and yeah, just a reminder if you're new here. So going straight to the Replit, which is again the Ruby Online compiler, I want to take the first step, which in this case will create a method called factorial. I always remember factorial Fibonacci. And then it takes a count as an argument, and we already know that. And let's use the puts Fibonacci, passing in 8 as an argument. That's it. And just a reminder, the Fibonacci sequence will be 0 and 1 and 1, because this is the sum between 0 and 1, and 2 and 3 and 5 and 8 and 13, 21, 34, 55, and so on. That's it. The first step is I want to calculate the sum of the even numbers in this Fibonacci sequence. The first step probably should be creating the Fibonacci sequence. So I want to do this by, this is actually probably, this is the second video in this sequence, related of course to Fibonacci. And I'm gonna calculate that using 0, 0 until count, and I want to do something here, right? So I'm going to use this block, and this will be an item, and here we go. Perfect. The first thing that I want to do is I want to create this sequence local variable, and I want to store all of the numbers related to this Fibonacci sequence. And the first step is, instead of storing directly to this sequence, I want to create this local variable, because I love to create local variables. This local variable that starts at 0, and I want to say, hey, this number will be item if the item is less than or equal to 1, which means that if this is 0, the number will be 0. If this is 1, the number will be 1. And if the number is greater than 1, then I'm going to calculate that in a different way. So this is the number, and if the item is less than or equal to 1, and I want to calculate the number that will be the sequence. That's the same algorithm, the same logic that we did previously. The sequence will be -1 plus sequence -2, which in this case I want to say, let's say that I'm calculating 8, then sequence -1 will be 5, and sequence -1 will be 3. And I want to calculate that if the number, actually if the item is greater than 1. That's it. That's very simple. We did that before. So, and what I can do, the next step is I want to store that in my sequence, which in this case will store the number. Perfect. Very, very simple. If I want to calculate the sequence, let's just double check here if everything is okay. If I execute this sequence, let me see, here you go. You have, the Fibonacci 21 is the number 8 in this Fibonacci sequence, and Fibonacci 21. Perfect, it's working. Now what I want to do is I want to sum all of the even numbers. I will create this local variable called sum, and then what I want to do is I want to say, this will be very simple, I want to say, hey Ruby, I want to sum every number in my sum if the number is divided by 2, which in this case the remainder value will be 0. We did that in a previous video. And if I want to return this sum, as you can see, 10. I have no idea if it's okay or not. So you have 2. Let me see the first number that is dividable by 2. 2 itself plus 8. And yes, 10. Yeah, that's working. That's working. Now the next step is I want to validate one more. Let me check if everything is okay. And 9 is not okay. Okay, of course, I have to remove this. 9 is okay. And 44. That's totally fine because now I have 34. 34 plus 10 is 44. Yes, very simple, and I hope that you like it, and see you in the next coding challenge.